I've never done this an entire day, no Japanese, only English. We probably shouldn't get into too much trouble. Also, I love all the tiny little shrines here. I was gonna start the day at the airport, but airports, hotels, stuff like that are kind of a given that there's gonna be somebody who can speak English. So we're just gonna head right into the city. Like as a really simple example, most chain hotels like this, like Appa here, do your staff speak English? Just a little? Yeah. Thank you so much. They'll likely always say just a little, so speak slow and simple in that case, but... Do you speak English?
I don't know.
Where is Akihabara Station? This way?
Yes.
Excellent.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Sorry.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day. I have Google Maps, don't need directions, but you might not have data or you might run into trouble and need to approach somebody, and if you're trying to figure out who to approach, super easy. The biggest pro tip I can give you is look for somebody who makes eye contact. Not only does it make it way easier to approach them and say hello and everything, but for some reason, they tend to speak English. Trust me on this one. This one works. I've been using this since long before I could speak Japanese. What I love about it is that it works almost every single time. Probably one of the best pro tips I can give you. Now, if you make your way into little spaces like this, there's gonna be a lot less people who are likely to speak English, but I'm telling you, Google Translate, if you keep it simple, has gotten really good. So also, this is where Shimoyama-san's shop used to be, and it is just, it's gone now. Well, it's not gone, but it's not gone. That's a story for another time. You'll already notice that the signs are filled with English, and most train stations across Japan are going to have Japanese and English. If you get way out into the countryside and they don't, the formula is pretty simple. It's just Google Translate and really simple questions. That's it, and you're usually good. Even a lot of the announcements are now in English, but every now and then you may run across signs like this that don't have English on them. Now, instead of trying to figure out where you're going, you can just get these cards, like a Suica or a Passmo card. These work really well. They're just prepaid transportation cards that you touch and go. I have mine on my phone, but there's also things like this. It covers the JR lines and the subway lines, and it has English as well. You can just go.
The next station is Ueno JK30. The doors on the right side will open.
This train is on a test run. That's cool. Now when my Suica card on my phone runs low, I can charge it via credit card, or I can come to one of these machines and do this. But there's actually a thing here that I really love. Let me show you. Do you speak English? A little English? Come on, you can't tell me that's not the coolest thing in the world. They're covered with plastic now, but they actually used to stick their heads out, and this entire thing opens up, and they can stick their whole body out to work the machine with you, and it is just the coolest feature. And she spoke English, so... The touristy Japan is making its way back. This is the Ameyoko market, very nice market in Ueno. The Ame and Ameyoko originally stood for American market, because this was the place to get like foreign and American goods back in the day, but it's now become, it still kind of holds up, but it's now become a lot of food and snacks. It's got everything. See, Ameyoko, the American Army surplus store. This area is filled with so many hidden spots and secrets. I'm gonna grab some food today, maybe a nice meal somewhere, but before that, there's a quick stop that I want to make. This epic rooftop shrine hidden in the middle of the market, which we were actually able to see from the trains, by the way, is not what I want to show you. Where we're going is actually underneath it. So this shop here is a snack store, and it actually continues right under the shrine here. This is basically a supermarket just for snacks. I did a whole video of it on the early days of YouTube. This place has almost every type of Japanese snack available, even stuff that I've never seen or heard of before. It's my go-to for whenever I want to bring gifts back for friends and family, so I'm gonna need just a minute to do some shopping of my own. But while we do that, why don't we give some love to this week's sponsor, which is Tokyo Treat and Sakurako. Also, we are up on an Akihabara rooftop right now. These are my two favorite subscription snack boxes. Tokyo Treat gives you as many as 20 limited edition, exclusive, and seasonal snack. Ooh, we'll look at that in a second. And Sakura-ko focuses heavily on authentic, traditional, and artisanal snacks and teas while partnering with local Japanese snack makers to help carry on their traditions passed down over 100 years. Each box also comes with a little booklet that explains everything and has amazing themes. This month, Tokyo Treat is Akiba Adventure, which is perfect considering we're on the rooftop of my studio here in Akihabara, so we'll look at that one second. We'll start with Sakura-ko box here, which is themed the colors of Koyo. Koyo is the changing leaves. I feel like we're gonna get a lot of fall stuff in both of these boxes. I love Sakura-ko because you'll always notice there's doubles of a lot of the stuff, so it's really great for sharing. Actually, I love these little momiji cookies, and I'm always looking for this. The Sakura-ko box always comes with a little piece of tableware, but I want to try out this momiji manju. There's always a really nice tea as well, and this month it's a beautiful genmaicha, but I'm super curious about this Akiba Adventure. We got some fall flavored Kit Kat. What is this? Mystery Blue? One of my favorite things ever are these katsu. Also, can we take a second to admire just how many snacks are coming out of each one of these boxes? I have made such a mess now, but if you want to give them a shot, you can use the code LENS along with the link in the description box below to give yourself $5 off your first box. Well, that is the end of the sponsored segment. Now back on to our adventure. All right, so mission complete on this end. My bag is now filled with snacks, but I am famished. So let's see if we can't head to the area of Asakusa and grab ourselves some good food. I can already see the ads for food everywhere. So now we're in Asakusa, which is one of Tokyo's most traditional areas, albeit one of the most touristy areas, but it's a space that I love. I lived right here in Asakusa for over a decade. One of the greatest pulls to the area is this Kaminarimon Gate and the connected Sensoji Temple that's down here. But there's this giant, always overcrowded shopping street right here in the middle called Nakamise Dori. All the actually good stuff is gonna be on the side streets off of the main street. There's a nice little restaurant right there. Like, look at these little back streets here. Now, this is only 2 streets over from where we just were. And not only are there abundance of little restaurants and mom and pop shops and stuff like that, but it's so much quieter. Just get off the main streets. Just get off the main streets into the back streets. You will not regret it. And speaking of not regret, there's something I want to show you over here. This right here. So I can't speak for now, but back in 2019, I was highly recommending people to avoid shops that had English available, English menu available, because there was a lot of cases of overcharging or adding table charges and stuff like that. So proceed with caution if you see signs like that. This right here was by far my favorite restaurant in Tokyo. It was a shamisen restaurant called Kiko, and unfortunately it is gone now. So the past couple of years have not been kind to us.
Tokyo Lens?
Yeah, hi, I'm Norm.
Hi, my name is Mustafa. Hi.
Good to meet you. Where are you guys from?
Germany.
Have you guys had any communication trouble since you got here?
No, they really try to communicate with you.
Yeah.
So that's very nice.
What's been the hardest?
I think hardest when we went into the rural areas around Mount Fuji, so
Okay.
that gets quite difficult. And try to with a Google Translator, and then it worked out.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice
Thank
day.
you guys. Take care.
Take it.
Okay, so it's after 1:30 right now, and I am starving. But around the corner here, there's an old Japanese cafe, or kisaten as they're called. I don't know if they have English. I've never tried to go there using only English, so let's give it a shot. This is the place here, and as I suspected, very traditional Japanese old cafe. Not a bit of English anywhere. English okay? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Cash only.
Cash only, that's okay. Thank you. This place was actually one of my biggest worries because it's one of the oldest cafes in all of Asakusa, but English menu, cash only. Can I get B set with a hot sandwich?
Hot Sunday.
Okay. Hot coffee. Thank you. As you can see, if you keep it super simple and just point to stuff, it goes really, really smoothly. I always get the same thing, by the way. Bit of a salad, it comes with some yogurt, and there's a corned beef hot sandwich, and I really, really enjoy the coffee here. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. I'm genuinely so surprised that they had an English menu and were able to use English with it. I thought that was going to be the one spot that would 100% have no English and kind of throw me for a loop in the day, but it didn't, which is great. I probably should have hit the washroom while I was there. One of the questions that I get really often, weirdly, is what happens if I need to find a washroom in Japan? Department stores are going to be your go-to. Every now and then in the countryside, convenience stores, or amazingly enough, you can quite literally just Google for public toilets. It's not going to show them all, but in a pinch, it can be helpful. I think our closest one to here is probably gonna be here at the Asakusa Don Quixote or here at the shopping center below the Richmond. They have a little floor map hidden back here. 4th floor it is. Some people say they're worried about not being able to like read the kanji and whatnot. However, more often than not, toilet to be labeled just like this. It's actually really rare that they're not marked with these. Also, since it's in the same building, it's worth mentioning that major chain restaurants like Saizeriya here are almost guaranteed to have English on their menu, and a lot of them, especially since the pandemic hit, just have little tablets that you order your food on, so it makes ordering generally pretty simple. I've had tons of friends and family come and visit, and I've never once had any of them have trouble with restaurants and food. Actually, except for this one case, sorry mom, I'm gonna throw you under the bus. My mom went to one of those tiny old cafes, like the one that we went to, but they didn't speak English. My mom doesn't speak Japanese, and there was a bit of confusion over coffee, but in the end, it all worked out beautifully. Nobody died. Now, taking a look at the little back street or side street local bars like this, I understand a lot of people are worried about whether or not they're going to be able to order or talk to locals, and these are actually really full, like, considering it is not even 3 p.m. right now on a weekday, and these things are filling up. But there is always going to be a local who wants to speak to you in English. It's almost this guaranteed thing. Also, you can just point at stuff or use simple words like beer or whiskey. And also, I know I said I wasn't going to use any Japanese today, but I absolutely love the name of this shop right here, which is We're Sorry It's Too Delicious. And they sneak in the word nice at the end. It's like umasugite moshiwaka nice. Also, love how these streets just split off into so many directions. But what if you need to take a taxi or make a phone call, or if you have an emergency or any of those? Well, let's go find out. Taxis are pretty easy. Most of them have GPS, so you can just give them an address, or you can just tell them where you want to go. Akihabara Station, please.
How is the temperature in the car?
It's good, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, excuse me, seat please.
Yep, seatbelt okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are you from Tokyo?
神奈川、横浜。You like Japan?
Yeah, I love Japan. This is your notebook. You like driving?
Yes, and very like driving.
I can just use my Suica.
Thank you.
It was fun, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye. That was cool. We got a really awesome taxi driver. None of this is planned, by the way. Like the cafe, didn't expect them to have English, and they did. And then the taxi driver actually had a little notebook with... Let's go see how phone calls play out. Yeah, that was completely a red light right there. Yeah, sorry, is English okay?
No, this, sorry.
No English?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Oh,
Okay, admittedly, I wasn't prepared for that at all. I've eaten at this izakaya so many times, and the staff there, maybe just the guy answering the phone was not in a good mood. We'll try another place.
お電話ありがとうございます。
Sorry, is English okay?
少々お待ちください。
Thank you.
Hello, may I help you?
I would like to make a reservation.
Yes.
That is a lot closer to how that was supposed to. I didn't expect that first one. That's a real reservation, by the way. So now that that is done and dusted, I want to cover a few questions because I'd opened this up to my Patreon to ask them what they were afraid of if they didn't speak Japanese in coming into Japan. And one of the ones I want to box off right away is the Japanese-only establishments. In all my time in Japan, I've only actually seen one of these. The media and social media makes these look much more common than they actually are, and more often than not, if it's labeled that way, it's probably because it's some kind of suspicious activity. Chances are you're not just gonna walk into a random bar and then be like, get out, this is Japanese only. I've never had that, and I haven't met anybody who has had that situation. Now, one of the questions that came up a lot, very understandably, is the fear of getting lost. Now, in 2022, as I record this, a lot of us have smartphones, but even if you come and you don't have that, or you're within a station and lost, there's 2 or 3 tips that Number 1 is make time to get lost. And I don't mean like leave a time buffer in case you get, no. The very first time that I went from Sendai to Matsushima, I got wildly lost, and it led to some absolutely incredible adventures and some of the best memories I had on my first trip in Japan. Make time to get lost, embrace it. Another big one that I got a lot of questions about is police in emergency situations. Like what do you do there? How do you communicate if you don't speak any Japanese, or if your phone isn't working? And a lot of people don't know this, but the police in Japan will more often than not actually bring in translators to help you accurately communicate. The translators aren't just always there. They have to call them in, and it takes a little bit of time for them to arrive. But if you're sitting down communicating with the police and you need that help, it is more often than not available. And while that doesn't really cover emergency situations, if you were to Google Japan English emergency support or Japan English support or something, there are a ton of search results that's going to come up. There are companies entirely dedicated to helping you do that. Some are non-profit organizations, some will take money. I recommend looking up 1 or 2 before you come to Japan and just have them in your phone and ready. That is the squeakiest chair on earth, and it bugs me, but I'm too cheap to replace it. Allergies are also another big struggle when coming to Japan, and I don't have a perfect solution for it. Honestly, more often than not, you end up finding either a chain that actually lists all of their ingredients or has it online. You end up spending a lot of time on the phone, or there's no good solution. If anybody has a really good solid solution for what to do with allergies or dietary restrictions, please let me know down below, because I've never managed to crack that code, never managed to solve that puzzle. That would be super helpful. I really did think we were going to run into more trouble, more struggle, more difficulty today. The day went weirdly, almost disappointingly smooth. Super Mario 64. I still have my Tokyo Treat and Sakurako boxes, which need to be tidied up and put away. We've got a small mountain of snacks and coffee on top of the fridge, and here I have all my records, and I'm building a bit of a collection of records and laserdiscs entirely based on the covers. But at the very least, I hope today was able to give a little insight, maybe calm your mind, maybe create some questions. If there is any, leave them in the comments below. I know everyone who's been to Japan is going to be super helpful in answering those as well, so feel free to chat with each other, and you guys know I'll see you again real soon. I'm gonna tidy up and play some Mario, because that's how I feel like ending my day. I wasn't kidding in the least. 8 red coins. Just feels like the clip show of levels is just got a little bit of coffee left.